What is up, everyone? Pleasure to have you aboard. And our good friend Mason in the Dark has so kindly provided us with a lovely synopsis of last week's chapter. So we're going to start with that in the comments. Previously on Garden of Lies. Last week, Dalj was propositioned twice. Not in that way, you pervs. Our dashing hero has some food for thought. Will he choose rebellion or a life of privileged luxury? Find out next week on Garden Ball D, which is an anime reference if you give me Dragon Ball Z reference, because I love that show as a kid. But anyways, oh man, and then Mason says, our trusty team of dogged companions were dogged. Haha. By the way, if you call a wolf a dog in my world, they would try to kill you. Our trusty team of dogged companions were given new titles, a high honor indeed. Also, new fancy clothes. Are they ready for what comes next? In the face of his disgrace, Double A fled like the cowardly yellow belly he is, but things got a little heated.
Lovely. Yes.
It seems our slimy foe has been sent prematurely into the void by the mysterious Dreamsmith. Or was he? What strings are being pulled? Who is manipulating things from behind the scenes? And most importantly, does Amnes want to boom, boom, boom in Dalj's room?
We officially have a shipper.
We officially have our first ship of the fandom, and
yeah, I'm here for it.
I love you, Mason.
Yep.
Alrighty. No homo. But hey, everyone, this is gonna be a quick side announcement because this is a stream to talk about the chapter, to read the chapter and talk about that. But really quick, this is actually like a matter of very serious importance, and I'm actually being totally serious about that. We are in the age of censorship, and the techno-fascists, Google, Alphabet, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, they don't want you talking about certain things. And when you talk about those things on their platform, they censor or ban you. I have just experienced this with having a video removed yesterday where I talk about the book by Robert F. Kennedy Jr., The Real Anthony Fauci. You can see it right behind me, right here. I did a review on that book, and I tried to be tame because I knew there were things in there that would get the video nuked, and I tried to restrain myself. They nuked it anyways. They don't want people talking about that book or what's in it. And so I have provided links to my review over on Odyssey and Rumble down in the description, right below the description of what we're talking about with the Garden of Lies this week. It's the next thing in the description down below. And there's also a read along on a Odyssey channel that is linked down below if you want to find out what's in the book, but you don't have the money for it, or you just want to have someone read it to you for free, whatever. It's down there. And I have plans to make a video about this subject standing on its own that will probably be up maybe tomorrow. Because, frankly, the fact that we're being censored for just talking about things is the most important issue of our time.
Yeah.
So, I hope you all stick around for that. Because, yeah. I apologize for this. I should have caught what? Should have caught what? The slip of the tongue. I should have caught. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Mason. But yeah, so I'm actually going to begin reading this not from the physical book, but I'm from this day forward, I'm going to read it from the file I have on my computer to make sure that. And oh yeah, that's another relevant announcement right before we start reading here. I reviewed the issue on Barnes & Noble's with the file printing wrong, with the copies of the book that I have being the wrong file. I had the right file in my computer, and for some reason it wasn't what was up on barnesandnobles.com. So I put the right file up. The printing errors are gone. The typos are gone. You're good to go buy from Barnes & Noble's again. I'm so sorry. I absolutely fucking suck at clerical things. I'm sorry.
We will soon have helper monkeys, and then this won't happen
All right, everyone.
anymore.
I want you. Oh, god damn you, Mason. Now that is gonna be fucking stuck in my head. You.
Oh no.
You dirty, rotten bastard.
He's like, no, I got the song
The dog is fun. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, easy. You could have just stopped it.
I absolutely fucking suck. You know what, Mason? How about you take my foot all the way up your ass? Except I'm not gonna give you a choice.
You'd be like,
I'm gonna
look,
put that bitch inside of you to the knee.
You'd be like, look, your starfish looks hungry. Maybe it wants some leg.
Oh, you don't have to take it back. Oh, God. All in good fun, man. We joke and be mean to each other and elbow each other in the face here at Team Adventurers. It's how we show we love one another.
Yes, exactly. It's like, don't you know, that's how you know your friends are real. If you can call them a book and Egypt, and yeah.
All right, everyone. So with that primer on recent events from Mason in the Dark, and that disclaimer about stuff going on and the fact that the file is fixed on Barnes and Nobles, let's get into it.
Yeah.
The Garden of Lies, Chapter 10. You outdid yourself, Dad. I scoff. Actually, I'm going to take a slight variance from normal procedure and read you the last line of the last chapter just because it's a direct pickup. So, last line of last chapter. He is silent for a moment as he slugs a shot of rum, then washes it down with sangria. Let sleeping dogs lie, Dalj. Chapter 10, you outdid yourself, Dad. I scoff. What a quintessentially you thing to say. I'll drink to that. Pogs downs another shot, looking around. Pogs downs another shot. Looking around, my pack pretty well split up once we got into the tent, but we're all drinking. I think they need it after seeing Arian and his pack get roasted and burnt like cheap street food. For me, it's just one more thing on my list of reasons to pickle my guts. Pogs and I start pouring them down. Hey, Tyler. I hear behind me. It's Senkotsu's voice. Hey, Tyler, he calls again. This time, he's close to me. Is Tyler the guy next to me? I feel a tap on my shoulder. Senkotsu is standing behind me. Tyler, why are you ignoring me, man? What? Is he serious? And first error corrected. There was a double space there. Senkotsu, we met like 2.5 hours ago. There is no way you forgot my name in that time. He stares at me for a few beats, then realizes his mistake. He smells like vodka, which explains this a little. My bad. You look just like my friend Tyler back home. Now, fun little fact. This exchange right here is written because for the first half of my friendship with the real life inspiration, with the guy who Senkotsu is based off of, he called me Tyler because apparently I looked like his friend Tyler, who I met years later and who I look nothing alike other than we're both blonde. I was a little insulted.
It's like, hey, dude, do you have face blindness?
Frankly, I'm much better looking than Tyler. Anyways, back to the story. He stares at me for a few beats. My bad, you look just like my friend Tyler back home. Uh-huh. Say, how drunk are you? He straightens and looks me in the eyes, something like indignation on his face. I'm not even that drunk, man. You really do just look like Tyler. I roll my eyes. Okay, man. So, you know the guys who got roasted? Yeah, I did. Sorry, man. That sucks. Not really. He and his whole crew were bastards. That last bit gives Sin some pause. I thought wolves were very respectful of their dead. I nod my head. Normally, yeah. He dishonored himself about a dozen times over. Plus, and this is just between you and me, I lean forward and wave him in so I can say it right into his ear. I am just too drunk to give a shit. I start laughing. He laughs with me. Pogs is shaking his head, but he's grinning ear to ear. Sinkotsu and his other bandmate, who is playing guitar, whose name is Bastion, they end up spending a good chunk of the night with us. We share stories. They perform music right there in the tent, which makes for some interesting impromptu dancing. They show us a drinking game they play down south. It involves throwing stones into a bowl filled with some kind of alcohol. If you throw a stone into your opponent's bowl successfully, they drink from the bowl. Our bowls are large and filled with rum. About halfway through my bowl, I am losing control of my motor functions. I chuck a stone harder than I meant to, and I dome Bastion right in the forehead. As a quick aside, that's a callback to the D&D campaign that Amnes is from. He, having consumed no small part of his own bowl, goes down like a sack of bricks. Everyone laughs themselves stupid. Sinkotsu grabs one of his stones and throws it towards my bowl, but his shot has way too much power. And instead of gently arcing from his hand into the bowl, it fires like an arrow in a straight line right into my doggy bag. Now I go down like a sack of bricks. The laughter is twice as loud. Sin and Pogs both come over and lean over, asking if he got my nads. My right nut feels like it exploded. All I can do is nod my head and moan in pain. We got a cure for that where I'm from. Sin drags me up by the arm. Halfway up, Pogs grabs the other and helps haul me up. Sin grabs my bowl from the stand and puts it to my lips. I shake my head no, but he starts pouring. Should be a comma right there. I'll be damned if I let booze go to waste, so I chug. There has to be a pint of rum in this bowl. As I am doing my best not to drown and run, Sin keeps tipping the bowl more until the stones all tumble out and slam into my face. Fucking shit! I shout as I spit out rum and blood. Oh damn, my bad, dog. I fucking hate you, cat. Hey, is his only reply. The night goes on like that. Song, dance, drink. I vaguely remember running into Amnes and Tenna again. There's also something about hopping behind the bar and jumping into the fountain. After that, it's all black. What is not black is the furious, merciless, absolute incandescence of the sun as it shines directly into my eye holes. I reach my arm up to cover my eyes. It feels like lead. I lay in Engiel's basement on the cot Zadok assigned me. My head felt better after getting kicked by the carapace. I managed to peel my eyes open enough to realize some angel left a pitcher of water on my nightstand. I achingly sit up and start drinking. My stomach makes an odd gurgling sound. I stop a few times to breathe or swish water around my mouth to try to get this god's awful taste out. After about a half gallon of water, I lay back down. Dream world. Finally sober enough to hear me, huh? Oh, gods. Not this guy again. Yes, me again. Well, shit. First, he starts laughing. Then they all start laughing. Men, women, the cacophony of voices. Flashes of imagery appear before me, rapid and bright. It's bedlam inside my head. Again I shout. Again, no sound leaves my mouth in this dreamscape. When are you going to figure out there are no words here? Only thought. Right. He always hears my thoughts. That's right. Who are you? Again, with the inane questions, kid? Look, we don't have time for that. Right now, all we have time for is this. The black and white figure steps into my field of view again. That same grin, colors opposite its body. Seeing this thing is so unsettling, yet familiar. Even beyond just the times I've seen it. The rendezvous is coming up, kid. We gotta do something or we're gonna miss it. What? No answer. I think louder. What? Still nothing. Awake. What the void are you talking about? I scream as I bolt upright in my bed. My head is still pounding, but now only like I got hit with a couple of bricks instead of the whole house. I look around. I'm alone down here in the infirmary. I grab the pitcher and repeat my routine. About halfway through it, Zadok drifts near silently down the steps. He approaches my bed, a very, very slight, almost imperceptible look of concern on his face. Are you in distress? He asks calmly. I clear my throat. How did I get here? After you emptied your stomach onto yourself from overconsumption of alcohol and washed yourself off in the fountain square, the town guard escorted you here to sleep it off, along with Pogsworth, Murday, a few of the citizens, and the bard from out of town named Senkotsu. I nod. Right. I remember. Kind of. Zadok gives me a blank stare. I take another sip of water and clear my throat. Would you be willing to send me some breakfast, Zadok? I am. I will have the kitchen make you something. I nod. I appreciate it. He copies my nodding gesture. You are welcome. Then he turns and walks away. Breakfast proves to be a form of cruel and unusual punishment. If it tasted any worse, I am pretty sure I would throw up again. But I really hate wasting food, so I suffer through it. Just as I begin thinking death may be preferable to finishing the plate, Engiel comes down into the lab. Enjoying breakfast? He asks with a knowing smile. What did I ever do to you, Engiel? He laughs and goes to a workbench and begins rummaging around, sorting through things and performing other menial but necessary tasks. It's a medicinal meal. Herbs and root extracts to help you heal from your wounds. And the alcohol. So that's why it tastes like dirt. He chuckles. Yes, well, you would know. I glare at him hard. And even though he can't see me doing it, I am sure he knows. I start looking to see if my certificate of entry is with me. I have a small heart attack when I realize it's not in the fold of my kilt where I stashed it. The drawer of your nightstand, Engiel says without looking back. I open it, and sure enough, inside is my certificate and the clothes I left here, which will have the scroll of my family history in them. Thanks, Engiel. He nods his head. You know, I will not always be there to order guards to scoop you off the ground. You must start considering these things. Oh, sorry, Engiel didn't yawn there. That was just me. I know. But if I can't get stupid drunk at the festival of the hunt I won, when can I? He nods his head again. A fair point, young lad, as long as you are conscious of it moving forward. I grunt in the affirmative and stand, stretching out my sore muscles. Everyone go home? I ask. Indeed. Much to do before the trial. Engiel, I gotta ask, why are you sending Kira in class? The trial is in 2 weeks. They won't be healed by then. How bold an assumption, Dalj. My eyebrows lift and I think about it. I decide to trust Engiel. Fair enough, I say as I start putting on my pants, boots, and shirt. The trial is in 2 weeks. We have a lot of work to do until then. I want my pack in top form. With a 3 to 4 day journey to the capital where it's held, that leaves us only 8 or 9 days of solid training. I wonder if Engiel has any useful info for me. Before you ask, I cannot tell you anything of what the trial will look like. Like the festival, the changes every year are a closely guarded secret, and it does change every year. Except that one time it did not. I think they did that just to screw with people. The historians especially. Engiel chuckles at his own remark. I can't help but grin a little bit. I'm about to start walking out when Engiel says, that plate of food represents 2 gold magnus worth of rare and valuable herbs. Finish it. I stop in my tracks and look back at the nightstand. Damn it all. I grumble as I trudge back. I decide the suffering will be quick. I open my dirt hole as wide as I can and use my utensil to shovel in about 5 bites of food at once. Chewing it only just enough not to choke, I swallow, and the awful food claws for life as it descends my gullet. I am the victor. I stomp up the steps to show my umbrage and leave Elder's mansion. The cleanup of the festivities is already almost complete, with most of the normal business of the square once again in motion. It's well past midday. Gendir won't have my weapons done until tomorrow at the soonest. My trophies are getting sent straight to my place. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I start walking south to go home for the first time in over a week. I take the main road south that leads out of the square and cuts through the lines of buildings, my kilt bundled neatly under my arm, my documents tucked away in my laced-up pocket. I smell a familiar smell, and I see Kira and Lyra quickly approach me. There you are. Mother was worried you wouldn't be making it after last night. Right. That's what I'm forgetting. I smile. Of course I wouldn't forget. They share a look. We didn't say you forgot. Damn it all. I guess I say stupid things sober, too. They nod to each other, and each reach up and grab an ear. They begin towing me to their house. The entire way they hagger me about the disrespect for getting such an invitation shows. How I am a typical pack alpha who fails to consider the feelings of those beneath me. How their mother will hear of this after dinner. Then my personal favorite, how Amnis is going to take vengeance for this insult to her favorite Gamma and Beta. They refuse to let go until we have arrived at their front gate 25. Yes, 25 minutes later. My ears, once my best sensory organ, may never hear right again. I make the remark aloud. They counter with a remark about having earwax for brains. Women, am I right? Gonna check comments really quick. Oh man, Mason, you have been. I love Mason's live tweets on these fucking things.
Yes.
Okay. You should have just stopped it. I absolutely. I think of what shit to say about that. Oh god, I wish I could read. I wish I could simultaneously read his live tweets while I'm reading the chapter. It's serious mode. Yeah, Dalj, Tyler. I can see how you would get that mixed up.
They're so similar.
Yeah. ASMR Dalj. Mead
Mead
Pong.
palm.
Yep, facts.
Gosh. That is something that is going to happen when we throw parties.
Facts. There will be no beer in my house.
That's
Only
right.
mead.
It will be mead palm.
Why is the rum always gone?
Why is the rum always gone?
And real talk, drink bitch is like, you could sum up Wesley's personality with that expression. That guy was a go hard or go home kind of guy. Well, he'd go hard, then go home kind of guy. Yep. Yep. And fun little fact about that too. So I told you, Mason, that as a kid I had eye surgeries. For like 2 years after my eye surgeries, waking up in the morning was literally an agonizing experience because getting my eyes to adjust to first light was like someone was stabbing me in the eyes. So that, yeah. Zach, what are you doing in your own story? I mean, I'm literally the protagonist. So.
Slap for the drum.
Why are they serving? So he admits it. You always hold your cards so close to your chest. You do be holding them close to his chest, though.
I love how he's like, "Damn it, Gandalf! Last week it was Dumbledore."
But I reject the notion that Edgeel is Gandalf because, frankly, Gandalf is better. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Gandalf is a little better. I'm tempted to lead it to not liking Kira. Oh, that's.
Well, hey, if that's what you want to do, man. Oh man.
All right.
Dude. Yeah, because when the shipping really gets started, we're gonna have people literally in arguments.
I imagine so.
Over this. So I mean, hey, if Mason's the first to get started.
The smells of dinner hit me when I enter. I can't pick out all the scents, but I distinctly make out garlic bread, roast, and there's a sweet smell of cooked fruit. The twins show me inside and seat me in a chair by the hearth in the living room. Lyra gives me the evil eye as she disappears into the kitchen with her sister. The male slave I saw mending the fence enters the room. With your permission, I will clean your boots and kilt, Master Thorn. I sigh. Giving slaves this speech got old a long time ago. I'm not your master. You can call me Alpha. Well, actually, I guess it's Direwolf now. But that's a mouthful. Look, just call me Mad Wolf. He looks confused. It's my earned title, I explain. That mostly assuages his confusion, and he moves to clean my boots. That won't be necessary. What's your name? His confusion comes back in full force with that one. He is not used to being spoken to as a person. After a moment or two, he timidly replies, My name is Goose. I nod. Would Cove mind if I simply removed my boots? Goose shakes his head no. Excuse me, not Goose. Not Goose. Goose. I have trouble pronouncing his name, but it's Goose. Then you can set them on the porch for me. If you don't, Then you can set them on the porch for me if you don't mind, I say as I remove them. He quickly but carefully takes them and carries them with respect. Setting them outside the door, he returns and asks if I need anything. I tell him I am fine, and he leaves to attend other matters. It's not much time after that I am collected by the female slave and ushered to the kitchen where my hosts all wait. The two slaves work in the kitchen, putting the final touches on what looks like a fantastic meal. Do your attendants do all the cooking? I ask in polite a tone as I can manage. Actually, Wind does a great deal of it. They help out where she needs it. I take a seat as Cove answers. Kira gives me a look I think I know. She's worried my manners won't hold in the presence of slavery in progress. I raise my hand and wear a calm face to let her know I don't plan on making an issue of it. Starting a debate about slavery most likely would end poorly, and would only serve to paint me as a lousy guest. Better to earn their trust and friendship first. Then I might have a chance at persuading them, or at least of having them listen. Who says I can't be diplomatic? Or maybe it's just the free food acting as a bribe. If that be the case, I am obviously quite cheap. Wind asks to be regaled with tales of the hunt. She wants every minute detail of it, especially my and Kira's time in the foxhole. Since then, I've been having nightmares of total darkness, I let slip, surprising even myself. I didn't mean to say that. Cove clears his throat. Well, I think that's understandable. You very easily could have died in that cave if Arian had found the back door, or if the initial cave-in buried you. He offers. I nod, letting the explanation stand. They don't need to know about the laughing, or the black and white human figure. Not even sure why the mention of the dreams slipped at all. As we did last night, we talk and laugh and enjoy each other's company. The roast turns out to be carapagne from Amnes's kill. They serve me key lime pie for dessert. I don't know if they knew somehow, but it's my favorite. I request 2 more slices after my first, and they warmly oblige me. When dinner is wrapping up, and I inform them I need to be off to attend to more important matters, Kira volunteers to see me off. Goose didn't clean them for you? She asks as I lace up my boots. I shoot her a look conveying my sentiment to the question. Ah, right. She apparently understood. As we walk down the street, she contemplates how to breach the silence. She lands on asking how I liked dinner. Your mom's cooking is pretty good. How did you know key lime pie was my favorite? She smiles. I cheated. Engiel told me. Figures. Old man must enjoy telling my life story or something. That gets me a small giggle, which makes me smile. I can still see her favoring her right side. Those doing okay? I ask. Engiel gave me something for the pain. He said to come see him tomorrow for some kind of treatment. He's probably just going to heal you, I say, nonchalantly. She turns her head, a look of surprise on her face. Is he that good? That he can just poof, heal them? She asks, slight disbelief in her voice. When he was teaching me the mountain, I sustained injuries that would kill most humans. A few that could kill a weaker shifter. After every single training session, he healed me completely. He did such a good job, I barely have any scars from my tutelage. He told me most come out of the training looking like they survived multiple ripjaw attacks. She blinks a few times. I had no idea it was so intense. It's pretty damn intense. How long did it take you to master it again? Just over a year. One of the fastest ever. Okay, we get it. You're a badass. I smile and give her a look as we walk. I'm not trying to brag. It's just the facts. I'm also one of the youngest to ever be taught the mountain. I'm just proud of it is all. She nods a small smile. She nods. I need a comma right there. A small smile on her own lips. And I guess after I'm done with this read along, I'm going to fix the file on Barnes and Nobles yet again. I understand. We walk a while longer. In a week or so, we all travel to the capital, she says. Yeah. You excited? She nods. It will be my first time outside Canaan territory. You? My mind flashes to an old, cold memory of biting snow, tall peaks. I stop walking and I shake my head. What was that? I've never climbed a mountain. Have I? Dalj? You okay? Oh, yeah. Yeah, sorry. Just had a stray thought. Yeah, first time for me too. She smiles and nods. I'm gonna head home. See you soon. She surprises me with a hug, but I only hesitate a second or two to hug her back. She releases me and waves goodbye as she turns and walks away. Man, that was awkward, Tyler. I hear a familiar voice say behind me. I turn and see Senkotsu leaning on the back of a nearby building. He's peeling and eating a plump tangerine, one of Wesley's favorite fruits. Where did you come from? I ask him. Cat's Paw, near the shaman capital border, he replies. You know that's not what I meant. He shrugs and discards a handful of peels into the dirt on the side of the cobblestone road. He kicks off the house and approaches me. I turn and start walking. He speeds his gait to catch up. Whoa, rude. I was talking to you. I thought you were talking to some guy named Tyler. My name is Dalj, I say. Okay, fine. I'll stop. Maybe. Eventually. I turn my head and roll my eyes, but I'm not actually that bothered. Sin has an easy way about him. It makes you want to like him. He's always smiling. His manner is always warm and full of energy, even if he does use some of that energy to verbally joust in excess. We walk and talk for about an hour or two while I walk out of town. We get to know each other. I find out he is indeed more than just a bard. He's a warrior of his nation. Apparently, some of them journey to other shifter nations as part of their training. He's going straight from here to the trial of war. So technically, he's already a full warrior like me and Amnes's packs. Don't suppose you want to travel with my group? Yeah, we can do that, I guess, he says with a smile he was waiting for me to offer. We, I ask. The whole band is going to the trial. Although Slabcat and Bastion aren't participating, she just likes to travel. Slabcat? I ask. Oh, that's Tenefe's nickname. I ask him how you get a nickname like that. He tells me to ask her. We continue walking until I reach the edge of town. I tell Sin I'm a ways out. He says he'll pass on the long walk and go to the tavern instead. Can't say I blame him. I don't feel like taking forever to get home. I shift and run back. Takes me 10 minutes to go the 5 miles. Or, excuse me. God, it's amazing how I can misread my own fucking book so much. Takes me 10 minutes to go the 5 or so miles. As I approach, I slow to a jog and seamlessly shift back as I go. When I'm about 500 yards out, I hear Gray howl, and then I see him come barreling towards me full tilt. He jumps, and not wanting to be tackled to the ground, I sidestep and he sails past me, landing in a clumsy tumble. He gets up and runs back over, but with only 10 or so feet to run, he didn't build much speed, and I catch him this time. I hug my oldest friend tightly as he looks at my face. I laugh as I tell him to knock it off without actually meaning it. Finally, the bath gets old, and I shove him off. I grab a nearby stick and toss it. He takes off like a ballista bolt in the direction of the house. Pogs, I'm home, I shout as I enter the door. He calls up from the cellar, but his voice is so distorted, I can't make out the words. Gray follows in the door behind me and goes to lie down and rest his old bones by the hearth, where his pile of pelts lay. My great-grandfather built this home around that hearth. The first floor is dominated by the wide-open 50 by 70-foot living space. In the back right corner of the house, there are stairs leading to the upstairs hallway and 2 bedrooms, which are supported by pillars in this room. The stairway to the cellar, which is almost as big as this room, is underneath the stairs going up. The kitchen is in the back corner opposite the stairs, featuring an island to work on, cupboards, and a table to eat. But the large, square brick fireplace with open sides on the front and back is used for all the cooking. I go to the kitchen and fish through a cupboard where we keep cured meats, and bring a sausage linked to Gray. I see a collection of bones by his fur pile, along with some fresh bloodstains. Looks like he had a couple rabbits and raccoons to eat while we were away. I gather the bones in a pile to discard. Gray tries to stop me from taking away his collection. I have to swat him away constantly. After gathering the bones and cleaning up my floor, I go out the back door and down the covered walkway to my workshop, where my family has labored for 4 generations, if you count me. I pass our vegetable patch on the way. Looks like Gray did a decent job of keeping the critters away. The seeds we planted are still where we planted them. I wonder if it's too late to have Gray sire some heirs. He won't be around forever. His family has been in mine since my dad was a kid. Be ashamed to lose that because I neglected to keep it up. My shop door is secured by a heavy iron padlock my father made after the original became too worn to function. It's basically a remake of the original, though. I like this design, and it's always been here, on this door. It should stay here, he told me when I asked why he didn't upgrade the lock. A creature of habit and sentiment was my father, which is exactly true to my real-life father, by the way. I step into my shop and breathe in. It smells like home. Even more than the house in a way. The smell of iron, coal for the forge, the various alloying elements and other chemicals I use to treat metal. I have three projects I'd been commissioned to make before I was pulled away by the hunt. They need to get done before I leave for the trial, for else they may literally never get done. No rest for the wicked, I say as I approach my forge. Protein break. Hey, Lauren showed up.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love these live tweets.
Yeah, so much fun.
I'm tempted to lean into not liking characters. Team Adventurous. Hey, we here at Team Adventurous support big titty redheads.
Yes.
And
yes, we do.
Among other things, such as a brilliant tactician, a fierce warrior, and a noble daughter, Amnes is also a big titty redhead. Just call me Mad Wolf. Oh my god, dude.
Aww.
Only you could struggle to pronounce a name. You fuck facts.
Yeah.
She gives me a look that says, Dalj, what the fuck? Stop disrespecting my parents. No, tell them about the laughing, and then they can kick you out, and you can go to
this house instead.
But I'm deadly awesome, so I survive.
That's right.
Facts, Mason. I'm deadly awesome, lethal justice.
Oh my god. Dalj likes pie, but Kira wants strudel.
Mason, do you like pie? Fucking love key lime pie.
Oh.
You'll get brain freeze. What? Love hearing Zach read. I have no idea what's going on, but I'm intrigued. Well, thank you, Lauren.
Yeah.
Get your hands
Get your hands off of him!
Citizens caught little establishment docks your consumption privileges. That's a callback to Mason's most recent short over on his channel. Go check it out. The local public death trap. It's fucking hilarious.
Amazing.
Go check it out.
Lazy. This is why I prefer canines.
Yep.
Yes.
Canines are best nines.
They are.
It's okay. Reading hard. Aw, kizzies. Love the description of the house layout. Thank you. It's kind of my dream house. If I ever get to build my own house, I'd pretty much like to have it look like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the main show.
It's hard reading your own words. Yeah.
I guess that design has a yes and no. Yeah. I mean, not like absurdly big. Like a good proper C is plenty. Like you don't need more than a mouthful. Okay, you know what? We were good friends, but now we can't. Don't you dare hate on key lime pie. It's the single greatest pie.
Key lime pie is good, and it's one of those mandatory things that you have to be able to make if you can respectfully call yourself a Southern woman.
Facts. No rest for the wicked, I say as I approach my forge. Something I have not yet mentioned about my old man. He was something of an inventor. He didn't fancy himself one, but I sure do. He had a lot of unique tools and equipment, created custom designs for existing things. He taught me how to use a lot of it, but some he never got around to showing me how it worked or what it's for. Now it sits gathering dust. I haven't the heart to melt it down for material. Sometimes I fool around with it, hoping I can figure it out. Not much luck so far. My dad was the engineer and master smith. I, the tactician and soldier, am a poor substitute. Nonetheless, I managed to get one of the projects done by morning. One of the local bakeries needed a new gear for the grindstone. I had it cast before I left for the hunt, but I am not the casting expert my old man was. This thing needed a lot of grinding and filing. Once that's done, I fire up the forge to heat it. Once the entire half-pound of iron is hot, it goes into the quench. Back out and into the fire again. Warmed up now, but not red hot. I remove it. Throw it in a crate of sand and lightly cover it. When it's cool in a few hours, the tempering will be complete. What are we working on now? Pogs asks as he enters the shop. The food you brought me, I say as I turn, smelling the breakfast as soon as the door opens. He brings it to me, and I begin eating without another word or cleaning my hands. But seriously, need a hand with anything? I swallow my mouthful of eggs and sausage while nodding. If it's not too much trouble, deliver the gear in the sandbox to Pure Grain Bakery for me. They were supposed to have it before the hunt. If they demand a discount for the late delivery, give them 20% off, but no lower. Already took less money for the job than I should have. You're too nice, man. Can't run a business doing favors. Yeah. I dismiss his advice. But he's right. It's honestly a good thing we are now warriors of the Empire and will start receiving pay. Until now, We only received trainees' rations from the town council because our parents are out of the picture. So anything else we wanted or needed, the forge earned for us. Or we grew ourselves. I wonder if I'll miss working the metal. Gray's howling pulls mine and Pog's attention away from the conversation. That's his guest howl. Wonder who's here. We leave the shop and walk around the house, my platter of chow still in my hands. I'm hungry, damn it. I vaguely recognize the smell at my door. It's the butcher. Must be delivering my pelt and tusks. He reeks of the blood of several creatures. It all combines into a musk of death that hangs around him. A smell unbefitting such a calm and reserved character. I wave a free hand to get his attention as I approach from the side. He finally notices us and raises a hand in greeting, but waits for us to approach before he says anything. As promised, pelt and tusks, as well as shoulder plates, are in my wagon. He points. Gendir also threw me a silver rin to bring you boys something from him. A smile takes my face, and me and Pogs share a look. I set my platter down on a table I keep near the front door and walk with the butcher to his wagon. It occurs to me that I have known the town's most popular butcher for years, and I still don't know his name. When I first walked into his shop, I called him Butcher, and he has never corrected me or indicated he wanted to be called anything else. Whatever works, I guess. I just buy meat from the guy. We get to the back of his wagon, and he pulls a canvas cover up, revealing the pelt and tusks. He anticipates my question and pulls up a section of pelt, revealing the handles of our weapons. Elder Engiel also asked I give this to you, dire macrophage. He produces an envelope from a breast pocket and hands it to Pogs. We don't waste time carrying our stuff into the house. The tusks fit, but the shoulder plates are massive domes of bone with jagged and sharp outcrops where the carapace broke old outcrops and new ones grew. They must sit on the porch till we decide what to do with them. Pogs sets the first down, and Gray immediately picks a slender length of bone and starts biting on it. That's one use, I guess. The butcher takes off without word once we get the last of our stuff out of his wagon. Just a wave, and he begins turning his horse for town. Carrying the pelt inside was like carrying a rug made of rock. It's so heavy. We unbundle the pelt and take up our weapons. We look at Pog's warhammer first. It's a massive affair. 7 feet long. The head is almost twice the size of a normal warhammer, and the spike opposite the blunt head has a slight curve and is at least 9 inches long. Let's see you swing that monster, I say as I grab my swords. We step out. Gendir is still chewing, or excuse me, Gendir. Yeah, Gendir the Smith is chewing on my trophies. Gray is still chewing on my trophies. Oh yeah, I just walk out and some human blacksmith is chewing on the bone from the fucking mammoth thing that I fucking hunted last week. Totally normal things. God.
Oh my god.
Gray is still chewing on my trophies. 20 yards out from the porch, he takes a powerful and balanced stance and takes his great warhammer through a series of drills. He is focused on feeling the weapon's subtleties, but there is a satisfied look on his face. Looking at it, I figured the weapon was obscenely huge even for him, but I have been wrong before. He swings it with seemingly the same effort a child swings sticks. In a large swooping motion to gather momentum, he brings the hammer overhead and down with thunderous force, absolutely demolishing a large stone that has been in my front yard since the house was built. Hey, man, come on now. I like that rock, I say as I cover my eyes from spraying pebbles. All right, my bad. Got carried away. Jeez, I say as I approach to inspect the weapon's head. Whatever this thing is made of, it doesn't give a damn about granite. The weapon doesn't have a scratch. I give the engravings a once over. It truly does tell the story of our hunt in detail. But Gendir had some room left, so he included snippets from Pog's family history as well. Goes back so far, I don't know what some of the scenes represent. Pogs, what's the letter say? He leans his hammer against his shoulder and takes the letter from a pocket. Pogsworth. This hammer was made from the shards of Three Fang Phage's warhammer. As you are his sole remaining direct descendant and have achieved a great feat in this hunt, I was able to convince the council you were worthy of this honor. As you know, his hammer was made using Novlum steel. It is still unknown how he managed to break his hammer in the first place, but I trust now that it has been reforged, his honored descendant will protect it, and wield it as a symbol of the might of his nation. You will notice many of the murals on the shaft of the handle are of him and his family line. It was a stipulation for the council to approve it without me simply overruling them, but I'm sure you don't mind anyways. Wield it well, Pogsworth. P.S. Hand the second page to Dalj. Guess the second page is for you, boss. Pogs hands me a second page. Dalj, when your father was summoned to the capital, he left me something in case he did not return. He had theorized a new forging method that might yield a vastly superior blade. He detailed the method with extreme care and left the instructions with me. He told me, should he not return, to have a master smith use the method to make weapons for you. He also expressed it would make him extremely proud if you learned the method yourself and passed it to your children someday. The back of this page is the instructions he left me. My heart starts racing. I have precious little of my old man's writing left. Most of it is stuff regarding the day-to-day of his craft. Order lists for my shopping trips into town, instructions he wrote me for simple tasks, things like that. But as I review the page, I realize I have nothing like this. I also realize this is my old man's magnum opus. The forging method detailed here is complex, with exotic additives and many, many steps he never even mentioned to me. I don't even know what all the terms he uses are. I'll have to ask Gendir. I carefully fold the page how it was and replace it with Pogs in the envelope. I run it over to the porch and place it under my plate. When I return, I kneel and draw the first of my two blades. Words fail me, and I feel tears well in my eyes. The steel shines like the star of the intertwined, and has complex patterns of darker metal that ripple over its surface, like raindrops hitting the surface of a stormy lake. The swords are hand and a half, with 5 feet of blade, double-edged. A tempering groove has been placed, centered in the blade's length. The crossguards are angled ever so slightly towards the tip of the blade. The handles are carapane leather, which is naturally blood red. The only difference between the two I notice immediately are the pommels. One is stained white and designed like a human skull. The other is stained black and shaped like a wolf's skull. I draw the second blade. It has an engraving. I flip the first around and find it does as well. Inside of the tempering groove, the white pommeled blade reads, "For my loved ones, the light." The black pommeled blade reads, "For my enemies, only darkness." That must be Engiel's idea. Master Smith, yes, but a poet my father was not. I don't think Gendir knows what poetry is. Pogs whistles. Those are something else, boss. I would have whistled, but I can't. Yes, they are. I choke up as I agree with him. These swords are a tangible symbol of my father reaching out to protect me. Holding them, I feel closer to him than I have since he walked away into the snow. I stand, blades in hand, and take one of the flowing stances Amnes taught me. It's my turn to test my new blades, and I run them through a series of strikes and thrusts. They are superbly balanced, and they fit my hands well, like they were made for me. I finish my sequence and come to a still stance, admiring the beautiful pattern on the blade some more. I wonder what in the forging process made the steel do this. And more importantly, I wonder if these swords are actually any good, or if they will prove to be my old man's most tragic blunder. I point a blade at Pogs, and a grin takes my features. Ah, man, can we not, Dalj? But before he's finished objecting, I am charging. What better time to test these puppies out? I leap into the air and descend forward, arms straight out, blades held in a vertical fashion. I tuck my knees to my chest as I fall and place my wrists atop them, bracing my wrists and swords in this way. I descend to chop with the full force of my weight and gravity. But Pogs is the only guy I know with more brute force to offer than I. He lifts his mighty hammer in a horizontal defense, catching my blades on the metal reinforced section of the handle. He tucks his arms in to absorb some of my momentum. Then, with a mighty heave and a grunt of effort, he actually pushes me back into the sky. I fly back and land in a skid, masterfully keeping my feet underneath me. I still have a lot to learn. Amnes would have done a cool backflip there. Aren't you tired, man? You didn't even sleep, he says, but I am already circling him, much as I did Arian. But Pogs is not injured, and his weapon is more suited to defense. So I quickly abandon the circling and close. I launch a series of thrusts from my blades. He is able to deflect or dodge them all, but he is breaking a sweat. He surrenders to the inevitable and deflects a thrust with enough force to throw me off balance. He uses the opening to bring the butt of his hammer up in an arc that would catch my kidney if I was slower. But I turn off to the opposite side, pirouetting and extending my arms out. My blade's a windmill of death. He has no choice but to jump back. I halt my spin and take a defensive stance. He takes his own. I lower my weapons. He's overcautious. He waits till I turn and grab my scabbards before he believes I've had enough. You really are an ass sometimes, man. I chuckle. It's my job to make sure my pack is always ready. Consider it training. Uh-huh, sure, he says as he approaches, inspecting his weapon. Amazing. Not a single scratch, I hear him say. I inspect my own blades. Also, not a nick or a dent to be found. But I am still curious. I point with my blade. Hey, Pogs, throw that at me. Hard as you can. He glances at what I am indicating. Ha ha, boss. Very funny. I am not joking. That catches him off guard. He reads my face for a moment before shrugging his shoulders. Want Gendir to show you that forging method right now, huh? Just throw the damn thing, Pogs. He sighs and throws his arms up in exasperation, but moves to comply. He stoops to the ground. With a heave, he lifts a large, jagged section from the rock he broke apart. He gives me a skeptical look, asking for final confirmation. I smirk. Pogs puts some stank on it and throws it like it's made of paper, not rock. Standing only 10 feet away, my window to react is tiny, but I was anticipating the throw, so I make it. I use a powerful overhead swing from a side stance that Amnes showed me. My blade comes down with lethal precision. The rock splits. Not shatters, but splits evenly down the middle. The halves fly off to my sides behind me. I stand there wide eyes. If I hadn't seen it up close and personal, I wouldn't believe it. I thought the rock might shatter, might just get pushed to the ground. I never expected it to cut the stone in two. I look at the blade in sheer amazement. I place the second on the ground to inspect my edge. If it has dulled at all, I can't tell. I spare a glance at Pogs. He is literally standing there slack-jawed and speechless. He might be thinking he is dreaming. You outdid yourself, Dad. Chapter 10, The Garden of Lies.
That is great.
All right.
All right. Catch up on the comments.
Catch up on the comments.
Yeah.
Thank you, and thank you all for being here. I just want to say again, I really do appreciate all of you showing up. Comments. I love reading comments about my book. It sustains me. As good as Wu-Tang pie. If there's two things I love eating, it's pussy and key lime pie.
Yes, and Owen is here, by the way.
I see that. What's up, Owen? Happy to see you, bud. I do not like pumpkin pie, Lauren. To be quite honest, I think pumpkin pie is gross. I'm late. Yeah, I feel that. I've had a spot of that the past couple days too, my friend. Dalj needs to contact Antiques Roadshow. Well, considering his father invented all of the stuff in that shop, and by the way, again, that's kind of a callback to my real life. Like right now, in the shed out back, I have a bunch of sheet metal jigs that my dad invented when he was at various jobs working in motor shops and sheet metal shops. He made jigs that let him do his job like way faster. Like he told me this story where he welded together this jig and it let him do like 8 hours of work in like 2 because he could just bend things super easily using this jig and everyone else was doing it by hand. He was like, yeah, because I'm not an idiot. I love my dad. I miss him. No, Owen, you are a filthy, rotten liar.
Gotta grind the grinder so it can grind other things.
Well, okay, so we're clear. He was grinding a cog in the gear system so that the teeth were smooth and flush and had rounded edges so they didn't snare. So that's perfectly clear.
Yeah.
Is only
yes, pumpkin is only good in candles.
I knew there was a reason. Man, I love you, man.
As long as pumpkin is not in a latte.
Oh, yeah, from the barista, that makes sense.
Yep.
Little guest howl. Hey.
Yeah.
Wolves know what howls mean what. If you actually read into the science of howling and how wolves communicate, there's a howl for food. There's a howl for enemies. There's a howl for, hey, girl, let's fuck. There's a howl for a lot of things.
Oh, yeah. Well, and if you listen carefully, you can hear the tonal differences.
Oh, yeah. Even humans can hear the difference between some of them. Yeah. Not all of them, because our hearing isn't as good as theirs, but some.
It takes practice. Also, though, if you
make my pumpkin pie.
Try to take my pumpkin pie, maybe.
My comment section has been hijacked by these fucking pie heretics.
Well, you will.
Yes,
you
Bo. Hang on. Go. Yes, Bo. I see you contemplating that hole. Don't you leave the fence, you bastard. Gotta plug that hole.
Look what I started.
Now available from Scent Farm. By it now, you can smell like death. Is that the fragrance Valdis Doyle wears?
Mmm. Oh, the butcher.
Oh, the debutante.
Pumpkin spice lattes taste like starfish, Lauren.
I would disagree. I've had pumpkin spice latte and I've had forbidden starfish. Forbidden starfish tastes significantly better. That is true.
That is true. Enough? Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
Now I want to try starfish. It's soul food, my friend. It's soul food.
Yeah.
Oh. It tastes like... Yes, Mason. What does starfish taste like? We all want to know.
Starfish latte with extra foam.
Especially if it's forbidden. Now he's getting it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
She asked how.
Okay, I'm gonna come down to the
mocha and lizard milk.
Caitlin, you've been able to follow the comments. If I skip, will I be out on the conversation, or can I skip ahead to what's current so we can actually have an in-time conversation?
You will be...
I will be out? Okay.
Yes.
A big mouthful of forbidden starfish. No, I sure. Okay. Pretty sure what to do. Invisibility cloak. Basis. To do. It's oh man.
It's the star. Yeah.
Dalj, this beautiful little babies you mean? What the is that in reference to?
When he was talking about his, passing things down to his children.
Ah, yes. Dalj and Amdis would have some very, beautiful kids for sure.
Yeah.
The steel shines like Amdis's eyes would. You're leaning into this hard.
Yep, he is. Oh, he told you he was gonna.
Listen, man, okay? The star of the intertwined is the brightest star in the sky, okay? Look at this. And it sucks too because it's hard.
He can't.
Oh my god. I'm an asshole. Okay, I'm sorry, Mason. That was insensitive on my part. I genuinely forgot you were blind for a second. I'm a piece of shit.
No, you're not.
For everyone else, yeah, the star of the intertwined is right there, and it is the brightest star in the sky that you can see from the K9. That really from the Empire, it's the brightest star, which is why it's the symbol of love. By the way, symbolism.
Mm-hmm.
May die of laughter conversation. Blades. Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I actually fully intend once I get a house, I want to set up a forge and I'm going to try to make them. And I know so the forging method that made those blades is a real life forging method, and I'm going to try to use the blades with the forging method that is detailed in the next chapter. Real talk, that is touching. Yeah, the inscriptions. And you know what's funny? Lauren and Mason, you guys both know this, but this is for posterity in the stream. I say in the book, my dad is no poet, but in real life, he is, of course, literally a published poet in his college literary journal. So that was just like a fun little bit of irony that I threw in there.
Yeah.
Deadly, awesome, lethal justice. You don't play with sharp things, and you never point them. He does. That's what I was thinking about how cool Amos is.
I love how at the end it's like, no, he did not.
You know what I love? I love that now that this is a thing with Mason. I get to see the progression that's going to happen. I'm so excited to see where this goes.
Yes, laughter. Except when you have forbidden starfish coffee breath.
Well, that's why.
Keep your laughter to yourself.
That's why you ask the owner of the forbidden starfish to shower first. mandatory.
It's like starfish coffee breath.
Again, real talk. Love how you wrote a tight action scene and built Dalj and Pog's friendship at the same time. That's that peeper pacing I'm here for.
Yes.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
That really means the world to me. And it only gets better. That's what I love that it you man. Yeah. Thank you. Should that not be wide-eyed? Precisely, you should definitely get some orbit. Dad. How
sharp is too sharp. Mm.
I like you more now, Zach.
Yep, because pumpkins are evil.
You know, the only thing the good that comes out of pumpkins is the seeds. You can put them on a tray, roast them up with some salt. Pumpkin seeds are not bad. The actual meat of the pumpkin is gross.
Or if you honey roast the pumpkin seeds.
Yeah. And yeah. My dad was my hero. He was the example of he was both my example of everything to be and everything not to be, and he tried his damnedest to make me the best man he could. Yeah, I love my dad. Thank you, Lauren. Combat. I like to think that combat scenes are one of my specialties. I really enjoy writing the fight scenes, and there's a lot of fight scenes because this is action adventure fiction. Action adventure epic fantasy, you could say. And I really enjoy writing fight scenes, and you'll see later that God, Caitlin, do I spoil it all?
What?
Do I give them a little bit of hint of how the fight scenes kind of evolve, or
over? You mean like over 2 and 3, or
even just in this book?
I mean,
okay,
is there a way you can hint at it?
Okay, look, guys, I'm just gonna say this, okay? If you think the fight scenes are good now, wait until Dalj's next character evolution. There
you go. Yeah. Yeah, because Owen said no spoilers.
Still not as beautiful as Amnes is. Well, Amnes does have one blue eye and one green eye, and that is like, it's hard for me to imagine a more beautiful pair of eyes than that. So I find it hard to argue with you because stars are just like really bright balls of gas. So I find it hard to argue with you, Mason.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I really am sorry, guys. I don't mean to be a sensitive prick. I really don't. Hey, showering with your partner is good shit. Well, I personally think he did a damn fine job, buddy.
No spoilers. Yeah.
Yes, you shared the poem your dad wrote. Yeah, my dad. He told me he worked for like a week on that one poem. He was, it's funny. My dad had a way with words, and he didn't even understand how much of a poet he was. All of his, I remember so many lectures and conversations with my dad, and he spoke with such romance about life and such a tone of ancient wisdom. I wish I could convey it better than that, but I'm merely a mortal. Writing action scare. Well, my friend, you will have plenty of examples by the end of the book, man.
Yeah. Yeah, because when I was first reading it, I was like, okay, so this is how we're putting the epic into epic fantasy.
Like I said, I really do. I really do enjoy, and it's not just going to be one-on-ones either. I have some larger scale battles later in there, and oh god, I'm
Ooh.
so excited for when we get to the battle at the fort. Oh my god, I
Fuck
love
off.
so much. So much fun writing that, and I can't guys' comment on it is so good. Yeah, my dad would have liked you. You would have liked my dad. Yeah, he was a very brass tacks, honest guy, and gruff exterior, heart of gold kind of guy, with plenty of flaws. Don't get me wrong. He had an angry streak a mile long. You never would have guessed based on looking at me, but he did his best. Yeah, man. If gonna do some Jackbox if you want to hang out. Yeah, man. We could do that. We could. I'm while we do that, I could maybe try to sort out the issue with the fantasy grounds for the D&D campaign. I still got to get that sorted and actually sit down and write out the story for the campaign. I've written it this bit, so let's see that. I mean that bit. So that. Oh God, I'm sorry. That prologue you sent me last night, Mason. That kind of action where it's a little bit more drawn out and a little bit more poetic in description. I've always had a penchant for that as well. It adds a level of gravity and fantasticism to it that I really enjoy. So, and of course, there's a time to apply that and a time to apply gritty, fast paced. This is how it would actually happen. And knowing when to use each one is a skill in and of itself for sure. Oh yeah, we got plenty of large scale group fights and especially in in the third book. Once we get around to full scale, well, I'm zip my lips.
Yep. No spoilers.
Zip my lips.
Yep. You guys are just gonna have to wait.
Yeah. God, man. Mason, if you don't mind, I'm going to describe my world map to you and my star map to you a little bit, just because I want you to get a rough idea. So, okay. So, I'm looking at my world map right now. That's in my printed version of the book. So, up in the north, we have the Ariel Kingdom, or the Ariel Nation, we shall say. Then right below that, we have the Canine Nation, situated kind of on the eastern border where those two meet. We have this giant Great Lake. And past the Great Lake, between the Great Lake, the Shaman capital, which is further south, and the Gates mountain range, which is just these absurdly big mountains, we have what's called the Common Nation. That's where humans are forced to dwell. That's where all the shifter nations go to raid human slaves. Okay. Then on the western side of the Ariel and Canine Nation, we have the Leviathan Sea. And that spans the entirety of the map. It's a massive sea. Further down at the southern border of the Canine Nation, we have the Feline Nation. There's one mountain range right there, which is overlooking the sea. And we have a forest, which is relevant to the story in the second book, which is called the Tenebrian Forest, or excuse me, not the Tenebrian Forest. It's called, God damn it, Caitlin, Ferrotine. It's the Ferrotine Forest. except it's not a forest, it's a jungle. And there's a joke about that in the second book.
Yeah.
But yes, it's the Ferrotine forest, which is actually translates to wild dark. That's a little bit of Latin for you kids at home.
Mm-hmm.
And then even further south, we have the Reptile Nation, which is mostly desert. There's a little bit of tropical jungle in the northern reaches. And then in the deep, deep south, the Gates Mountain Range begins curving west a little bit. And inside some of the nestled valleys in the Gates Mountain Range, we have this mine called the Pit. And that's relevant in the second book. Also, in the Leviathan Sea, things of note, the majority of the aquatics territory is an archipelago that's in the Leviathan Sea. Up in the northern, it kind of borders the Canine territories on that western coast. And in the far south, out in the middle of the Leviathan Sea, on the map, you can see this island that's west of the Feline Nation's coast, and that island is very, very important. And then the star map. Okay, I am intrigued. Yes, this is why you're better author than me. I have no idea of the Bleeding Ground world.
Yeah.
Yep. Wild Dark is my. I love it.
Yep.
That's a great name.
Yep. I said that's a big 10 for it.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And then moving on to the star map. So, as I've mentioned at this point in the story, my world has 3 moons that are all visible at night. Fun fact about this, one of the moons is green, but it was originally supposed to be blue. But somehow, when I sent the file that I made in Microsoft Paint to my graphic artist to make this map for me, somehow the file I sent her, the moon was green. So she made it green. And I was like, well, it looks really good. I'm not fucking with it. The moon's green now. So that moon is the Jester moon. And it's funny because in this star map here in the first book, it says originally Luna. And the red moon, which is bigger, says originally Ferris. And by the way, it's called Ferris, as in ferrous metal, because that moon is made almost entirely of iron. And then the biggest moon, which is gold colored, is called Aurorum. And that is, and now the Empire calls those moons Jester, Rinkotsu, and Magnetoris. And those are where their deities live. We have a belt of nebula that comes down from this would be the eastern part of the sky, coming down into the southern horizon, reaching over to the eastern horizon, then crawling back up north. And there's a lot of constellations. I won't bore you with naming all of them, but yeah, it's Don't be silly. Iron doesn't float. Hardy, har, har. Jason. Hardy, har, har, har. Oh, man. Well, it has now been 90 minutes of stream.
Yes.
For those of you who have been here the entire time, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. I really appreciate anyone who wants to enjoy my story with me. We'll be back next week with Chapter 11, I'm Bankrupt. Yes, the chapter is actually called Chapter 11, I'm Bankrupt. Fun little fact about that, I named it that because my therapist made that joke while I was in a therapy session telling her I was about to start writing Chapter 11. That was pretty specific.
Oh,
Yeah, it's midnight here. Oh, damn, then you should be probably in
wow.
bed with your lovely lady, sir. So you have a great night, my friend. I'll see. Well, I'm sure we'll chat tomorrow. We'll see all of y'all this
Yes.
weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to Garden, my friends. Be well. Done.
Dun,
Dun, dun,
dun,
dun.
dun.